That's right, Thomas Edison. One of my detectives was a bodyguard for the great man last year after he was named to the Naval Advisory Board. He began getting threatening letters from people, warning him not to invent a weapon that could be used in the European War.
Well, that's true. Yes, sir. I'll have a man there tonight, midnight to dawn. I appreciate it. And thank you very much. You feel any better today?
Not really.
Well, a new assignment for you. A haberdasher on Fifth Avenue what's been robbed 3 times in a month. William, the first time is hard for anyone.
Be honest. Was it hard for you?
Not really. The shop's name is Weber and Lewis. It's on 5th, just above Washington Square. The thief waits until after midnight, then unscrews the ventilator cover over one of the display windows out front and sticks a pole hook inside to grab the hats and gloves in the window. You can take the other motor, the Ford. It's parked out back. Get down there before midnight. There's an alley across from the shop. You can back the auto into the alley and wait for this fool to show up.
And what do I do if he does show up?
What do you think? You nab him. You got your pistol?
You mean I'm supposed to shoot him for stealing hats and gloves?
William, he's a thief, for God's sake.
What if I just wrestle him to the ground and cuff him?
Well, if that's the way you want to handle it, then go ahead. Just don't let him get you with his pole hook. One more thing. Because of the robberies after midnight, the 9th Precinct just assigned a foot patrolman named Broadhurst to walk 5th at night. I'll telephone down there and let him know that you're going to be guarding the shop tonight. William, don't let this get the best of you.
Mr. Ross?
Officer Broadhurst.
Anything to report?
Nothing yet. 5th's been deserted.
Yeah, it will be for a while. It's only, 3 a.m. How long you been working for Campbell?
Just 6 weeks. Get in if you like.
What were you doing before this?
I appraised property for one of the railroad. But my wife's gonna have a baby, so I needed a permanent job in the city. Hey, mind if I ask you a question?
Go right ahead.
Well, there's coffee in that thermos bottle at your feet. And I brought an extra tin cup for you.
Oh, you're a friend forever, Mr. Ross. What's your question?
Well, we had a situation come up at the agency. This happened yesterday. One of our detectives may have shot an innocent man by mistake.
That's not good.
Might have shot him bad enough that he was going to die from the wound, but the detective's not sure what happened to him. He got away. The detective was assigned to be a bodyguard for the day for a Broadway actor. I won't tell you which one, but he's an actor known for all the diamond rings he wears.
I know who you're talking about.
When the detective got to the Belasco Theater, this actor was out front jumping up and down in a frenzy. He said he'd just been robbed at gunpoint of all his rings by a bearded man who was walking away on the sidewalk. Now this actor pointed right at this man and said he had a Colt revolver. So the detective chased after him and he started running also. But when the man was about to run into a motor bus garage on 8th Avenue, he turned. And the detective was sure he had something in his hand, his revolver. He was about to fire. So the detective fired first. Then the man disappeared inside.
Is the detective sure that he hit him?
He thinks he did, but he's not sure.
I'll be honest. Is it you we're talking about here?
Legally, I probably shouldn't say.
Well, probably not. But you said that the man he shot was innocent.
Stupid actor. He pointed to the wrong man. The detective found this out when he got back to the Belasco. The man he pointed to was a poor part-time stagehand at the theater named Cook who didn't do nothing, and that's the man that the detective chased and shot at.
You said that you had a question.
Yes. Where does someone go in the city to find the names of people who recently died? To see if Cook is on the list?
Well, it depends. My experience is most poor men don't carry anything with their name on it. So if your dead man was sent to a morgue and had no union card on him or other identification, well, then the chances of anyone at any morgue in the city being able to identify an unknown body are, chances of that are next to nothing.
Well, it's their job, though, to identify the dead.
Let me tell you a story about Big Tim Sullivan, the Crooked Tammany Hall boss. He died a couple of years ago. He had syphilis and was suffering religious mania. But sometimes he still had some of his wits about him, so his brothers hired a couple of men as nurses, but also to play cards with him. They were playing pinochle up in the Bronx one night when Big Tim gets up to piss and wanders off. Yeah, that must be our boy.
Looks like he's going for the fur shop.
The idiot. He hasn't even bothered to look over here. All he's guilty of right now is being a man on a sidewalk with a bladder. I can't charge him for that. Let's wait till he gets into the crime. So, Big Tim. He gets up from pinochle to take his piss, wanders outside, walks off a couple 100 yards, and gets hit by a freight train. The next day, they find his body at the tracks and it's taken to the Fordham morgue. Now, everyone in the city knows what Big Tim looked like. I mean, everyone. Even though the face on this body was untouched, even though this man was wearing gold cufflinks and a tailored suit, not a soul in this morgue recognized him. They classified him as a tramp, and his body was headed to a pauper's grave. He'll have to break the glass in the upper window to get at the furs. Anyway, Big Tim. He got sent to 2 more morgues, where no one recognized him either. Finally, they sent him to the Bellevue morgue 2 weeks later. A friend of mine, another bluecoat, goes by Bellevue to check and see if anyone from our precinct is lying there. And he sees Big Tim and immediately recognizes him. So he says, "Look, it's Big Tim." Everyone gathers around. Coroner, the other doctors. "You're right, it's Big Tim."
So what you're saying is don't count on the morgues to figure out Cook's name.
That's right. Well, our boy just pulled out his hammer. Looks like he's about to break the glass in that upper window. Can I ask a favor of you? I'll charge up 5th, and you charge down it. When I run across the street at him, he'll run south towards you. So you cross too, Mr. Ross, and see what obstacle you can present to that.
Could I ask you a favor? Could you let me charge across the street first so that he'll run north toward you?
You don't want to shoot a second man in the same week, is what you're saying. Don't worry. I've arrested this guy twice before. He's not a fighter. 2 Bits says as soon as we run towards him, he sits on that ladder, calmly lights a cigarette, and gets his hands in the air. Ready?
Hey, you on the ladder.
Belasco Theater.
Good morning. I was wondering if one of your actors, Claude Parsons, is in yet?
What do you want to talk to him about?
I'm his bodyguard. It was his bodyguard.
I'll get him.
Is this Ross?
Yes, sir.
You need to come into the theater right away. Have you talked to any newspaper men about the incident?
No, sir.
Cook was in early this morning. Said he was going to sue me for falsely accusing him.
Cook's alive?
Of course he is. I just said he came in.
Well, is he injured at all?
He looked fine to me, but he was hopping mad. My worry is he'll talk to the newspapers. I've got a reputation I don't want ruined by this, so I offered him $100 to say nothing to no one and to sign a legal paper my lawyer drew up. He took the offer.
Well, why do you need me to come in?
I'm offering you the same thing, $100, but you have to come in today and sign.
Now, you don't have to pay me, but if you're offering, I'll take it.
You sign and you can have the money. You swear you haven't told the rags about any of this? They sniff around like dogs.
I swear I haven't.
Then be here by noon. I've got a matinee.
Yes, sir.
By the way, I'll never hire you again. When you were chasing Cook, you were right behind him, but you still missed him with your shot? That's awful. How can you call yourself a bodyguard?